accelerate? How do I get to that next level? I've competed at some of the highest tiers of competitive ranks from games like Hearthstone hitting Legend.
You're a
Legend.
Harry.
What is up, guys? It is Nick here from Midwest Gaming Republic. I got something a little bit different for you today. I'm going to be doing a top 5 tips or tricks, but I guess they're primarily tips, on ways that you can become a better gamer. Now, before this video begins, though, I'm going to let you guys know up front that I'm not a professional gamer, but I have been around the block for a long time. If you're familiar with the website Game Battles or familiar with a website like a UMG, which is a competitive gaming platform where they have ladders where people who want to compete in a formal, I guess a little bit more of a sanctioned type of or a restricted type of format, go to compete and play. I have actually been on the Game Battles, which was actually formerly SOCOM Battles, back since the PlayStation 2 days. So, what I'm trying to say is that I have no idea what I'm saying. I'm definitely not a professional by any means. I'm just somebody who has been playing and competing for probably the past 15 years. To give some context about what sort of tips and tricks I'll be talking about, they'll be applicable across almost any game that you're playing. So if you're just looking to say like, why am I stuck in a silver, a gold, maybe even a platinum rank? How do I accelerate? How do I get to that next level? I've competed at some of the highest tiers of competitive ranks from games like Hearthstone hitting Legend,
You're a
Legend,
Harry.
Champ in Rocket League, also even hitting Masters in Smite. So, I mean, these are a wide variety of games. I have a wide variety of background, and I've competed in, countless online tournaments for games like Call of Duty, and I've even played in several lands. So, I have a good idea about what it takes, and I'm going to give you 5 of my best tips for you guys to be thinking about and being able to apply when you're trying to get to that next rank. All right, boys. Now, if you're ready to get as sweaty as I am, let's get right into this top 5 list. All right, guys. Tip number 1. Now, this tip is not going to be profound by any stretch of the imagination, but is something that has to be established. So, honestly, if you take anything away from this video at all, I hope that it's this tip. If you want to get better at something, guess what you have to do, boys and girls? You have to play. Have to play, you have to play, you have to play more. If you're not getting better, you're probably not exposing yourself to the mechanics, to the gameplay. Innately, you'll continue to progress through something. And if you want to get over a hump, you need to just continue doing it and learning and playing through. So guess what, Buttercup? You're going to have to play more of the game. I'm sorry to tell you. I think a big thing for me when it comes to playing is that, our egos can be fragile. As a gamer, you never want to be one-upped by anybody. And I've definitely fallen victim to this. When they talk about the mantra of like, people who are all talk, that's probably most people. And going back to you got to play more, you can't be afraid to put your little fragile ego and put it out there, and you can't be afraid to lose. Like, you got to play more, and that is going to come with losses. So if you're going to lose, guess what? You're never going to get better if you quit. So you got to continue to play, continue to expose yourself, and eventually that will just innately help you get better and better. All right, tip number 2. Now, this one is one of my favorite tips because, oh boy, do I know plenty of people that are like this. You cannot be the tilted nerd.
Fuck fault.
If you don't know what being tilted is, it's kind of like that feeling when you're ready to just absolutely flip your desk over and chuck your controller directly into the wall. I learned at one point grinding Hearthstone to Legend that guess what? Being the tilted angry person is not going to get you anywhere at the end of the day. And it actually, I swear to God, this is like a legitimate life experience for me in grinding Hearthstone, is that guess what, man? There's a lot of really good players out there, And there's a lot of very small, marginal decision-making things that can either cost you or help you. And more times than not, especially in MMR, so match make, you know the word I'm talking about. Whatever. It's like when they pair you against people of the same skill level. Um, basically, I went on a 9-game slippy slide. You get what I'm saying. But regardless, I went on a 9-game slide at one point, and guess what? I gave up. And I was like, F this. I'm never going to get the frickin' legend. It's not worth it. But in the moment, when you feel the frustration and you feel the anger, you have to find a way to recollect yourself. Step away, take a little break, but it doesn't mean you have to stop just because you're a little bit tilted. And I promise you that your tilted playing is hindering your performance in the moment. So what I mean by that is all of a sudden now you're being a little bit more risky. You're maybe being a little bit more aggressive on pushes. Maybe you're not being as reserved and you don't have the value that you need to outwit or outplay. Maybe you're burning your resources too fast. Just be patient, relax, and remind yourself legitimately it's just a game. And remember this tip. 51. What is 51? 51 is 51 win percentage. As long as you are above 50%, even it's 50.001, guess what? In the long term, eventually you're going to hit the rank that you want to hit. So just don't be tilted, relax, and chill the F out. It's just a game. Tip number 3. All right. Tip number 3. Let's learn some game sense and some mechanics. Now, this is going to sound maybe like the most obnoxious thing, like, duh, like, of course I got to learn how to play the game and the mechanics. I have a legitimate belief, that most people are performing one whole rank under what their capabilities are. So now, obviously, if you're bronze, F in the chat for you. But I legitimately feel that if you are very true and very in the moment to just being as optimal in terms of the basic mechanics and the basic game sense, so that means maybe it means rotations, so you're in the right positioning and you have a really good core. Because basically what I'm saying is that we watch a lot of really fancy, really flashy, either professional people or maybe they're, these freestyle like Rocket League dribblers. If you've never seen those people, go watch them. But the reality is that you are not those people. And if you are those people, then you probably don't need this tip. But if you are legitimately looking, and this is the most important thing, I think probably in this list, to actually getting ahead for yourself and actually getting to that next rank and the next step of, whatever you're looking to achieve in the game. But I legitimately think most people hinder their own, rank and ability to progress just based on zoning out in the middle of the game. I have almost single-handedly, and I think that this is really the thing that has helped me accelerate so fast in almost every game I play. Whether, maybe it's not the highest rank, like I had a rating of, 3,350 in Overwatch, and I never got over the hump into Masters, which is 3,500 rating. But like, you can get to these positions really quickly just by being really solid in just being aware of what's going on and understanding how your character works, how the basic game works, what the main objective, like what are the most important things. And if you really don't just go where you're just kind of like a zombie in the moment, just think about, where am I standing? What am I trying to accomplish? Where am I moving? And guess what? Eventually, just by doing that, just by being hyper consistent, not only will it just make you a better player foundationally, but you're just going to win more innately. Do the things that are going to help you get better, help your team win, because that's the objective. It's not about necessarily solo performances. because more times than not, the individual statistics don't matter at the end if you lose. So just be hyper conscious, be willing to adapt however you need, and just be really good foundationally, and you'll succeed. Tip number 4. Now, tip number 4 is actually a really interesting one, and I don't think it gets talked about enough. Actually, I don't think I've ever had anybody formally tell me, get your game settings correct. Now, what does that even mean? How do I know what settings I need? Now, it's going to vary, obviously, from game to game. Every game is going to have, a different need. And the cool thing with settings is that, mate, it's never the same. It's never the same from person to person, I mean. Like, there are certain things, like, most people are like, I suck, but I don't know. I don't understand why I suck. Well, you suck because your settings are all messed up. You're not giving yourself to elevate. You want to give yourself the best opportunity to be the best you can be. And a big portion of that is something like turn off motion blur. Guess what? Sometimes I miss seeing things or people that are literally right in front of my face. And if you're not someone who's playing all day, every day, and you only have maybe a little bit more of a limited opportunity to really, I guess, progress and play, and you want to get better, well, give yourself the best chance. Like, turn off motion blur. What is motion blur? Motion blur is the thing where it looks like you're like in some freaking hyperspace continuum when you're turning left and right, but it's supposed to make the game more real. It's like, nah, if you want to get better, do whatever you want to do. But this is what I do. I always Google what the most, I always go for performance. Always for performance. I want to be the very best. Okay, I'm not Ash Ketchum. You get what I'm saying. But like, I just want to give myself the best opportunity to perform at the highest level. And it's going to change. It's going to change from person to person, from player to player. But just take a second to Google what settings are, what settings at the highest end are everybody using, and just tweak. Just tweak from there. Find something that's comfortable for you, but just go for performance. And something like that will give you a better chance to win. All right, guys. And then tip number 5. Now, this one may feel a little uninspired, but it's something I want to piggyback off of from tip number 1. And that is just be patient, guys. It takes time. It takes energy. It takes persistence, focus, all that stuff to get better. So, and guess what as well? Your improvement will not be linear. So that means that, one day you may progress a ton, but then you may hit a wall, you may hit a hump, you may run into a roadblock, but just be patient and just keep working, stay at it. And you're not, and don't compare yourself. Don't compare yourself to, Mary, Barry, Braxton, Saxton. Just focus on you, focus on where you're at, and just continue to just have the mindset of just being better. And with that patience and time and applying all the other tips, you'll be better at the game. Did you guys think that I wasn't going to leave you guys with a bonus tip? Here's a bonus tip for all of you out there, and someone who played on 10 sensitivity from Call of Duty needs to hear this right now. For the love of God, if you suck, and this applies specifically to shooting video games, turn your freaking sensitivity down. Turn that shit down. Turn it off. Turn off your sensitivity. Don't even be able to turn. I'm so sick of the people I play with playing on too high a sensitivity and never listening to me, and they always go, I can't hit shots. I suck at aiming. No. You can do it. But you gotta turn your freaking sensitivity down. Turn that shit down. My recommendation, let's say trying to give some perspective, like on my mouse. Oh my God, I've been an official mouse and keyboard player for about a year now. I play on 800 DPI and my sensitivity is at like 4 on most games. Now, perspective, like a game like Call of Duty on controller, I was a controller player for like, obviously since Like Nintendo 64 is really the first console that I ever played. But like from an actual competitive standpoint, just turn it down. Like I played like on like a scale of like 1 to 20, I play on like a 6 sensitivity. And usually my vertical sensitivity is usually
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
a little bit slower than my, just did that backwards. This one, horizontal, vertical. My vertical sensitivity is usually a little bit lower than my horizontal. So just keep that in mind, guys. And with that tip, you'll get much better. So that's all for me in my top 5 ways to get better at just being a video game player. Now, once again, my name is Nick with Midwest Gaming Republic. If you enjoyed the video, please hit like and subscribe. Also, all the socials will be down low in the description, so please consider giving those a follow. But I will continue to make videos like this, and also check out my new series called Nick and Nukes, starring the most beautiful, fluffy gamer girl on all of the internet. And as well, I attempt to stream daily on Twitch and Facebook, all under Midwest Gaming Republic. So from Nick, in this video, good night.